My dad worked for over 30 years driving cargo trucks. He knew most of the country's highways, crossing states, climates, and landscapes that few ever see, all from the solitude of the driver's seat. He experienced everything on the road, good things, many bad, and some that simply can't be explained. Strange apparitions, encounters with the impossible, stories he never wanted to say out loud. But without a doubt, the most macabre thing that ever happened to him took place one night when, coincidentally, he wasn't alone. That time, my younger brother was with him. He was only 9 years old and had dreamed of traveling with my dad for as long as he could remember. For years, he had watched him leave at dawn and return days later with tales of endless roads, lost towns, and distant lights in the night. He had always wanted to be just like him. So when the December holidays arrived and he had the chance to join him on a trip to Coatzacoalcos, he didn't hesitate. It was his first time riding in a big rig, and he was excited. But the journey was long, much longer than my brother had imagined. The trip was rough, full of road accidents that caused delays. By the time they were close to their destination, it was already late at night. The highway was deserted, with only the occasional truck passing in the distance. The engine roared in the silence. The truck's headlights cut through the thick darkness of the road. My brother was already asleep, curled up in the passenger seat. He was exhausted. My dad drove in silence. And then my brother woke up suddenly. My dad noticed his movement and, without taking his eyes off the road, asked if he was okay. But my brother didn't respond. Not right away. He just stared at the rearview mirror, unblinking, eyes wide open. After a few seconds, he spoke in a strange, almost muted tone. "Dad, something got in." A chill ran down my dad's spine. He thought my brother was dreaming, still half asleep. He paid no attention, but the boy insisted, this time in a more unsettling tone. "Dad, there's a woman." The air in the cabin suddenly felt heavier. "What?" my dad asked, keeping his eyes on the road. "She's peeking in." My dad frowned and glanced at the rearview mirror. He saw nothing. "Go back to sleep, son. We're almost there." But my brother didn't move. He kept staring in silence, clutching his seat, breathing very softly. And then his voice broke into a scream. "There she is. She's looking in." This time, my dad couldn't ignore him. He looked in the mirror again, and for an instant he saw something. A shadow, a fleeting reflection, something with long hair that vanished too quickly. The hair on the back of his neck stood on end. There was something at the back of the truck. "Did you see her?" my brother whispered. My dad didn't answer. He didn't want to scare him more. But the feeling in his chest was no longer just nerves. It was fear. He pressed the gas pedal. The miles passed. In the distance, he saw the lights of a gas station. He decided he would check the cargo there, convince himself it was just his imagination, that his son had been dreaming. And then, the wind changed. It didn't sound the same anymore. It was a choppy murmur, like someone whispering in a language that didn't exist. He forced himself to ignore it. He pulled into the gas station, slowing down. A young man, no older than 18, approached to assist them. But his dog? His dog reacted in a way that sent ice through my dad's veins. The animal started barking and howling as if it saw something that shouldn't be there. Something in the truck. The young man frowned. Then he raised his hand and signaled my dad to keep driving. My dad slowed down even more, confused. "What's wrong?" The boy, realizing he didn't understand, ran up to the truck door and grabbed hold with both hands, lifting himself up a little, and his face held the same fear as my brother's. "Keep going, boss. Don't stop." Something got in. A chill ran down my dad's spine. "Who?" "Don't stop, sir. Floor it until you reach the city. Because if you stop..." The boy suddenly let go, and as he ran back, he shouted something else, something my dad barely managed to hear. "It won't ever let you arrive." My dad didn't think twice. He slammed on the gas. He shot out of there. He didn't look back. He didn't ease up until he saw the lights of Coatzacoalcos in the distance. When he finally arrived at the station, his heart was still pounding in his chest. He got out without saying a word. He walked to the back of the truck with a heavy feeling pressing against his chest. He turned on his flashlight and the beam lit up the metal floor. And then he saw it. Ash. Ash scattered in the back of the truck, as if something had burned there. The workers unloading the cargo said nothing, and if they noticed, they chose to stay silent. My dad never mentioned it either, but that night changed something in my family. My brother never spoke about it again. He never got into a truck again. And he never again mentioned his dream of becoming like my dad. Because that night, somewhere along the road, something climbed in beside them. Something that was never supposed to be there.